Hey guys, Eternal Phoenix here. Today's list is a lot longer than usual, but that's because we have a lot of new anime and continuations coming out this fall that are definitely worth checking out. Up first, we have Mechanical Arms, which has been set for October 4th, 2024. Mechanical Arms is set in a world where symbiotic aliens arrived on Earth fusing with human hosts, similar to that of the symbiotes from the Marvel franchise. However, these aliens resemble mechanical limbs, hence the show's name. The story will be following an ordinary middle schooler named Hikaru Amatsuga and his symbiote Arma, a special mecha arm, as he battles the secret Kagami group, who are looking for a mythical trigger arm, a mech said to grant ultimate power to the user. To protect Arma, a resistance group of mech users assign a dual-wielding mech user named Aki Murasame to protect him, and despite his unusual circumstances, when Aki's life is put on the line, he must resolve himself to take the fight to the Kagami group and protect her. This anime gives me a mixture of My Hero Academia / Gurren Lagann with a dash of Tokyo Ghoul, but only because the mechs kind of remind me of the Kagune from Tokyo Ghoul, but either way, I'm excited to see where the story goes. Up next we have Dadon, to be released in October of 2024. What happens when you put two conspiracy theories together? Well, you get Dadon. Two teens named Momo Ayase and Ken Takakura each have their own beliefs in the paranormal and extraterrestrial, and in an attempt to prove the other one wrong, they head to sites that they believe to be hotspots of both. And fortunately for them, or I guess unfortunately, they are both right, and thus begins their adventure in a world of aliens and ghosts, as they attempt to get back to normalcy after having their eyes open to the secrets of their world. Honestly, this show is something I've been waiting for a while, ever since hearing about it in 2023. I have a feeling it will blend the supernatural with a bit of romance as the two grow closer throughout their adventures, with the pair becoming somewhat protectors of their society from all things alien and ghosts alike. Plus, the opening theme is pretty catchy. At number 3, we have Demon Lord Retry R, which is the second season of Demon Lord Retry. Originally airing back in 2019, honestly, I'm glad it's back. It's been 5 years since the first season, and I was beginning to think that we wouldn't get another season. Hell, we got second seasons of The Devil as a Part-Timer and How Not to Summon the Demon Lord before we could get a second season of this. Which, don't get me wrong, Devil as a Part-Timer is a great show, but comparatively, I think Demon Lord Retry was superior to How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, although granted, that show had fan service to kind of fall back on. But with my mini rant over, Demon Lord Retry has 12 episodes that are subbed and dubbed, and a new season announced for October 5th of 2024. Following Akira Ono, a manager for the MMORPG game Infinity. After 15 years since its release, Akira decides to shut the game down. However, when things are set for its final moments, he finds himself in the world of Infinity as its ruling Demon Lord. But when things appear to be different from the world he created, he ventures forth to find the reason for his summoning and if he's really in a world of his design. And Season 2 should be a continuation of this. While this isekai anime has a simple concept, at the time of its creation, it was a really good show with a more down-to-earth protagonist. So if you have the time, it's definitely worth the watch. Now, at number 4, if you want something that you can just watch for fun with a little bit of slapstick humor here and there, then there is Loner Life in Another World, which is set to premiere October 4th of 2024. It follows Haruka, a teenage boy who gets isekai to another world with his classmates. However, unlike most isekai protagonists, he doesn't really get cool powers. Haruka, being the last of his group to get assigned abilities, gets left with bargain bin random abilities, and he must try and find a way to survive and maybe help his classmates while simultaneously not wanting to be involved at all. This anime seems like one of those shows you can turn your brain off for a bit and just have fun with it, akin to like a Konosuba type show. Basically a good palate cleanser in between more serious or long-running shows that you may have on your list. Next at number 5, for those of you who enjoy romance, we have 365 Days to the Wedding, which is set for October 3rd of 2024. Now this show seems like an anime take on The Proposal, honestly. It follows two travel agents, Takuya and Rika, who have just been told that their company is trying to staff an office in Siberia, with non-married employees taking priority in the selection. So with no other options, the two decide to pretend to be engaged and that they are going to be getting married in a year. The only problem with this is that they know nothing about each other and are both introverts. So this is a very interesting concept, and honestly, while I understand from a marketing standpoint that it makes sense to want to have an office there, considering it can drop to negative 13 degrees in Siberia, I can also imagine that people would probably leave before getting stationed there, because like, who would want to go to a place that cold? I think this show could go one of two ways. They either actually fall in love and don't have to go, or the move to Siberia gets called off and they will both have to decide whether their feelings are real and whether or not to actually get married. But either way, I think it's a solid romance anime and I'm looking forward to it. At number 6, which is pretty fitting, we have Blue Exorcist, which is subbed and dubbed with 50 episodes, a movie, and season 4 releasing in October 5th of 2024. The Blue Exorcist is a show that just keeps coming back. When it first aired in 2011, I thoroughly enjoyed it, at least until season 2 came out, and that's when I realized that the back half of season 1 was entirely an anime-only ending. But since 2017, Blue Exorcist essentially went the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood route, and everything has been good thus far. The story follows Ren Okamura, a delinquent teen with no real aspirations for the future, the complete opposite of his talented twin brother Yukio. One day after finding out that he and his brother are the sons of Lord Satan, ruler of the demon world, his adopted father, Priest Fujimoto, gets possessed and killed by Lord Satan. Seeking revenge for their father's death, the two attend True Cross Academy to become exorcists and eventually defeat Lord Satan, while simultaneously keeping their demonic powers and parentage hidden from everyone or risk losing everything. This anime has great music and animation, and honestly it's really nostalgic for me personally, so if you have the time, I'd get caught up immediately because it's going to be good. Next up at number 7, we have Dan Machi, aka Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, which despite the title, is not your average harem fantasy adventure, and honestly the main character doesn't even really try to pick up girls. The series has 59 episodes which are subbed and dubbed, with season 5 set for October 4th of 2024. It follows Bel Cranel, a young man with dreams of being the greatest adventurer in a world of gods, dungeons, and levels. The only problem is he's relatively weak and has no experience, and so he can't seem to find a god willing to take him in as a member of their guild/familia. That is until he meets the goddess Hestia, a poor goddess with no fame or members in her familia, and she takes him in and gives him a god's blessing, giving him the ability to level up. It's thanks to Hestia's support that he decides to venture into the dungeon, only to be traumatized by a monster and saved by another adventurer. But it's this experience that drives him to get stronger and eventually become the hero he was meant to be. This anime has just enough episodes to binge watch and plenty of comedic undertones to balance out its more serious plot, and it has plenty of well animated fight scenes. I personally like the zero to hero grind trope, and if you do too, it's definitely worth a watch. Going the complete opposite route, at number 9 we have The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan, premiering sometime in October of 2024. If you thought Naruto was the king of talking himself out of situations, allow me to introduce Noel. Noel dreams of being a seeker like his grandfather, a strong hero who slays monsters and travels the lands. Unfortunately, his skill is being a talker, an ability that allows him to boost others' abilities, and it doesn't really have any combat potential alone. So instead, he decides to become the strongest talker, enlisting the strongest warriors he can, and create the world's greatest clan. This anime is definitely intriguing, and it follows the trope of an anime character with a seemingly weak skill that in the right hands can dominate the world. But with that being said, it doesn't seem to be a copy-paste of other shows. Honestly, I think it's going to take it in a very interesting and different way to see him talk himself out of situations, or either talk himself into situations, honestly. But I can always get behind a character that outthinks his opponents. And finally, at number 10, we have ReZero starting a life in another world with 50 episodes that are subbed and dubbed, with season 3 announced for October 2nd of 2024. As crazy as getting isekai can be, from magic portals, summoning rituals, and a good old-fashioned getting hit by a truck, there's probably none more nonchalant than Subaru Natsuki's. One night he heads to a convenience store and upon leaving finds himself in another world. That's it. He walks out and he's just in a fantasy world. As he tries to grasp his new predicament, he ends up wandering through the city only to be attacked by thugs. That is until he's saved by a mysterious girl named Amelia. In an attempt to pay her back for saving his life, he helps her track down an item that was stolen from her. But after finally tracking it down, the two are brutally murdered. But to Subaru's surprise, he returns to a moment earlier in the day with the same events taking place, and him dying every time until he can finally learn from his mistakes and is able to save himself and Amelia. But unfortunately for Subaru, death seems to follow him everywhere. He goes everywhere that this man goes, he dies. Like at least once an episode minimum, this guy is dying. And it's kind of bad for him because he's just going to have to learn to survive in this new world or keep dying until he gets it right. ReZero is a great anime, but I will say if you aren't big on gore, this may not be for you because, again, he dies in the most tragic ways I've ever seen. It almost wants to bring a tear to your eye. But if you can get past the guts and gore, you may just find your new favorite anime. So this was 10 anime you need to watch this fall. I'm not going to lie, these longer videos take a ton of hours to days to script, record, and edit. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It means a great deal to me. And hey, if this video gets 1,000 views, maybe I'll do a part 2. But with all that said, Eternal Phoenix, signing out.